Hey, Akash.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
It's Ajay. Hey, Akash.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, so Byron from AWS mentioned he would be able to join. So I think that's the only, anyway. Let me share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. And why can't I see the main screen now? Sorry. Let's see. Okay, so now I can't see. Sorry, I'm trying to see where the main Zoom window went, so I can see if more people want to join.
While others are joining, I think one thing that I wanted to probably discuss was, I mean, I know that that's not on the agenda. Maybe I should, if you have, do you want to start discussing the RC4 or?
No, go ahead, Sajay. If you had something, we can start with that.
Okay, so we're at a good place right now. And maybe we should slowly start discussing where Ratify will land. What's the upstream path for this project? I think we should maybe reach out to Toddy and Lucky and see if and when this decision needs to happen and slowly start communicating this is where we are planning. Because it takes a long time to open up an issue for making it into incubation or moving it into some other project like like Notary and whatnot. So I just want to make sure that we have a home where people won't question that this is a Microsoft only project and things like that. So what is the path going forward is something that's important. And given that you're getting more and more PRs from AWS and all, they're going to ask that question. So being prepared, and we always knew that this is a temporary home for Ratify, right?
Yeah, so Feynman has been sort of starting to put the wheels in motion for that. So there's a couple things that he's been starting to sort of delegate and get resources for. Like, we are talking about the website. Like, we have a website actually started to implement that. We do have there's like we need of a logo. So we've had some conversations, but we should probably we should definitely have a more set up plan for where we want to end. Sorry, let me stop my sharing because okay, sorry. Yeah, so.
By the way, is there somebody waiting in the lobby or?
No, so I thought Byron was gonna join, but I don't see him. He might have gotten the invite for the other.
Oh, he just messaged me saying he's waiting in the lobby.
Yeah, so he probably has the meeting for the Thursdays. There's no one on this lobby.
Is it on the Teams meeting that he's clicked?
No, he's on, but oh, let me see if I can. maybe Akash, can you forward him the link to this meeting directly?
Yes, yeah, I just sent him the link.
Yeah, because he might be joining the other series. There's one for there's every other Wednesday at 4:30 and every other Wednesday at 1.
They're
There-
different meetings.
Yeah, there he is. So yeah,
Sorry, Byron.
Hey Byron, welcome.
Hello.
Hey,
Thank you.
sorry about the confusion of meeting links.
No worries, no worries.
Right. So we do have a 1 week we do it a little bit earlier and 1 week we do it a little bit later to accommodate different time zones. So I think you were waiting on the one that's at 1. But then I'm happy that you were able to join. So I think this is your first meeting. Do you want to just give a quick introduction?
Sure. My name is Byron. I work at Amazon in AWS crypto. And I've been contributing already to the notation project. This is my first time coming here to Ratify. And that's it.
Awesome, Byron. Welcome. Thanks for joining the project and starting to contribute. I really appreciate the work here.
Welcome, Byron.
Right. So let me try sharing again. I'm not very adverse with Zoom. We do Teams in Microsoft, so I'm trying to share, but then I'm losing my main screen. But anyway, that's fine. I think it's okay. So typically, we have the agenda here. Byron, I'll add yourself. I'll add you here. Byron Chen. Okay. All right. So, Sajid, do you want to continue the conversation? So we were having a conversation on Ratify. Anything else you wanted to add?
No, you can summarize for Byron if you want.
Yeah. So right now, it's a small project. We're trying to figure out what the roadmap, or just generally pushing this out of incubation into potentially a CNCF recognized project and all that. So Feynman has been looking into what would that entail. I think some of the recs are having a website. So we do have some folks working on a website proposal and logo. And then, but one thing that we should probably do here is just have a detailed plan for how we want to make this project mature. So I'll set that as a follow-up for myself to have more conversations with other folks and get a plan. All right. So a couple announcements. We're scheduling RC4 for May 12th. That's end of next week. So any changes that we want to get into that release need to be merged by the 10th Wednesday, so that that can be validated and give us some time for that. Yep. So I know that for RC4 we have a small subset of changes, and I think most of this is going to include your changes, Byron. So yeah, one thing that we ask is, I'm assuming that you have some end-to-end tests or something that you can run. You are able to test your changes. Is that correct?
Correct. I was able to test with a test plugin of mine in ECR, and I had deployed Gatekeeper and Ratify to my own personal EKS cluster, and verified that I was able to download the plugin through ECR, which is how I encountered the bug in the first place.
Got it. Okay. I think so. Das is joining as well. So, okay. So, discuss the home for Ratify and setup. We briefly chatted about this. We need a plan. So that's a follow up for myself. Let's move into the pull requests. So, are you still able to see my screen? Are you able to see the pull requests?
Yes.
Okay. So we have a couple of do not merge. So I don't want to cover those. I do want to cover a little bit. I don't know, Byron, if you want to just give us a brief overview of the PR that you're trying to merge.
Sure. So it's the first thing. This PR covers 2 different issues, which it might have been better to split up, but hindsight 2020, I guess. So the first thing is fixing a bug with ECR basic auth. What I found is that the method for basic auth expects an artifact reference, and when the dynamic plugins feature would pass in the registry, it would cause a slice out of bounds error. So this corrects that bug using the same method used by the other auth provider to parse the host from either the registry or the artifact reference. So that's the first thing. The second change is to enable the Notary v2 verifier to search for notation plugins, and does that by, or this PR addresses that by adding a plugin manager that implements the interface expected by Notation Go, and it looks for binaries in the default Ratify plugin download folder. So that's a quick summary.
Thank you. I saw Jimmy has approved. Akash has a couple comments. Oh, and then there's a lint error. Okay, it seems like there's an issue with lint. You may want to just check that one. Akash, did you any
Yes.
comments on this, Akash?
Yeah, so I can give a brief summary on the conversation that I had with Byron. So changes look good to me for the most part. The only concern that I had was the new Ratify plugin manager, which will be used with the notation plugin. That assumes that the notation plugins are going to be stored in the default Ratify plugin path. And for the most part, that's okay, but we actually do expose that as a configurable field at the top level verifier configuration. And as a result, if the user specifies a different plugin path beyond the default one, there could be some issues in finding the notation plugins there. So after looking through this more closely, it's not as simple of a fix as we'd like it to be, because the way the plugin binary directory is specified in the verifier config is that it's a top level value, and then each verifier, which is just an array of configurations, has its own config. And for notation, for the Notary v2 verifier specifically, which is the only built-in verifier, we don't actually pass in the plugin binary directory value to it, because it's a built-in one, unlike the other plugins when those are created. So we would need to somehow get that value back down to the notation verifier. So one way, which is probably the best way, is to actually alter the create API for the built-in verifiers. So the verifier factory to actually pass in the plugin binary directory too. This is technically a breaking change. So kind of want to discuss what thoughts are about like addressing this change. It is breaking, but the only verifier that would be affected by this would be the notation built-in verifier. So it would just be a couple line change, but it is a breaking change. So that was my only concern, and wanted to get other people's thoughts on this.
If this is important enough, I'm guessing this is important to get it working on with AWS, right?
Not specifically with AWS, just with notation plugins in general.
Yeah, so if RC4 needs to be successful, and if this is required, then I say this is high priority. Even if it's a breaking change, I think it's okay. That's my opinion.
I mean, yeah, what is the likelihood that the default directory is gonna be, that somebody's gonna have a different, I guess it can be likely. So I would say, yeah, we probably need to fix this. Are we gonna track this fix to a different in a different PR, or are we just basically log a new issue, Akash?
So I think Byron already created an issue for this.
Did? Okay.
So it should be a pretty simple fix. So we could do it as a follow-up PR, or we could actually just add it to this one.
I would say, since this is a breaking change or something, I would say just have a follow-up PR.
Okay.
Just so that we can track this specific fix. And then, yeah, yeah.
Byron, are you okay getting the linting fixes in? Just to unblock the PR?
Yep, I can get that in.
Yeah, and then once you get that in, Akash, I'm assuming you're gonna approve, and then we can merge this one and have the but we need to have the PR for the follow-up PR for the plugin directory. Okay.
Yeah, I can I'll approve it and then merge it, and then I can actually send in the other PR. It should be a quick fix, and then I'll get review from everyone else. So
Cool. Thank you, Akash. Thank you, Byron. All right. Let's see. We have this. Sure. Yeah, this is just basically a version bump, right? Does this depend about? Okay, I don't think we need to look through this. From the ones that says do not merge, I know Akash and Binbin is. Do you guys wanna? Well, the cache we probably will have a separate conversation, but Binbin, any updates or anything you wanna add on the support of Forego?
I was on holiday last
up.
week. Yeah, so I don't have any update on CPR.
Okay, all right. So that's
But it's almost done. So I think it's maybe it breaks some like unit test. So I will fix those tests, or not unit test, maybe the integration test.
I see. So do you think this will likely go on RC4?
Yeah, I think it can be done.
Okay, okay. When once you have your, we probably wanna discuss this one next week. On the go next week on the
Yeah.
community.
Thank
Okay, got it. Okay, so presentation, discussion agenda. Gatekeeper. Oh yeah, so there was a Gatekeeper and a plus Ratify experience demonstrated at KubeCon, so check out the YouTube. Jeremy gave a pretty nice presentation. So it was nice to see the project and all the being demoed at the KubeCon. So kudos to everyone who has been working on Ratify and Gatekeeper, of course. Notation RC4 breaking changes. Akash, do you want to cover this one?
Sure, yeah, this one, we had some initial discussions last week on this, but to kind of recap on that, with the new notation RC4 release, there was a slight API change, so we fixed that. There was a small struct naming that we had relied upon that had to be changed. And then the other part, which is the more important part, is that now certificate revocation checking is now standard or enabled by default for RC4. And there could be some performance considerations because during this process, it does a outbound request to the CRL or OCSP link to actually check if the certificate is still valid. So I think last week we decided we would just do some testing and see if there is any perf impact and then report back. And I think Binbin, you were gonna drive that, or?
Yeah, right. I started working on it.
Right. I think the other thing we discussed here was for this RC4, while we do the perf validation and that, do we wanna? So we're basically gonna use RC4 notation RC4 for this next RC4, correct?
Yeah, yes, we actually merged that change in already.
Right. So are we in a position, like, I believe I heard that we could disable like not do the check. Is that something? Should we make?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
We can override the trust policy for the notation verify.
I
So
see.
it will be disabled.
So potentially after we get the data from your test bin, we could make a decision whether we disable this at least for the first couple RCs so that we can actually work on our mitigation, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, if it doesn't have a big perf impact, we could just ship as is. But if we do see issues, let's have a plan for potentially disabling on the first couple.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's that. I don't think we have Min. So Min has been working on some prototypes for Ratify logo. She's been following up with Yi and with Feynman and some, yeah, and Toddy, and sort of soon we will probably have a logo. Yep, so that's our agenda for today. I see Dasi joined. Dasi, is there anything you want to bring up?
No, thank you. Nothing from me.
No, okay. All right, anyone else? Let me check the chat. Nope, that's it. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Robert.